Since nobody asked, let's take a tour of my glorious studio. I first must apologize for the poor sound quality. I can't hold the light in my hand and a microphone at the same time, so as it is, I will also be shaking the camera around a lot, and if you get dizzy, this is probably a good time to turn this off. Under here we have a couple of air organs. Now you might ask why I have two. Well, I got the first one, and then shortly after that I was given the second as a gift. And it's a good thing because the chord buttons that allow you to play chords with just a couple fingers don't quite work on both of them. So, but with two of them together, you've got one full functioning air organ. And here we've got my old Triton with the MOS expansion board and extra memory for sampling, which never gets used except as occasionally as a keyboard controller for things like this synthesizer over here that doesn't have a keyboard, or the computer for when I'm using it as a synthesizer. And there's my guitar synth, which is great for when I want to play keyboards but not play keyboards. My rack equipment, this is some of the worst rack gear you will ever see. There is a Rock Band sustainer in there, and the oral exciter isn't horrible, but other than that, it's pure junk. My bass preamp, a Marshall, tiny one, and my computer input, a couple mic stands, boom whackers. Now here's the important stuff. These are the finest percussion instruments you'll ever find that were designed for a 5-year-old. Over here's my workstation where all the actual stuff happens. That's another whole long video, though, if I was to get into that, because of all the software involved for recording and for using software synthesizers and stuff like that. But who cares? Over here is where I'm currently porting my percussion stuff that's miscellaneous, whatever, shakers, scrapers, Kuika, glockenspiel, a couple of rain sticks. And now the closet is handy not just for storing cables, but more importantly, you can shut the door with all the tube amps in here and mic them up without irritating the neighbors too much. To prevent the boxy sound of a small closet, I use this very professional method of storing my clothes in here. Got a couple of Fenders and a Magnetone and a old Peavey. Speaking of guitar, the guitar effects live under the desk over here, along with a bucket of cables for the modular system, which is tiny but growing. It's just something I started a little while ago. I'm sure you know if you've been watching my videos. Another keyboard that's purely just a controller for the modular, and sometimes the computer, because the Triton's large and hard to move around. A couple of input devices. I recently got the kalimba and the toy piano integrated with the modular. Drum pads, obviously. Crummy old theremin. When I want to play a little keyboard, I got the toy piano, but when I want to play very little keyboards, I can use my music machine here that you can stamp rolled paper and feed it through it and make custom tunes that way. My shoe organizer is instead used for miscellaneous stupid instruments. Things like, electric kazoo, or trombone kazoo, or vibra slaps and other silly things, shakers, turkey call, thunder tube, and of course cowbell, because you always need more cowbell. Stands, another recorder system, mostly wind instruments, although there's the automaton in there, which is electric, and I hope to get that involved in the modular soon. Harmonicas, random stuff. And then finally is all the stringed things. I've got a couple. Usually there's less guitars in here so that there's room for a second person in case they want to jam, but I've got a couple guitars there, and over here we've got basses, baritones, and more guitars. There's also a couple of ukuleles and mandolin. So And under the shelf, which is actually a bed, there's banjo and a couple of violins. Now, in case anyone thinks that this all just happens overnight and you get a collection this size quickly, the violin on the right there I've had since 1975, give or take a year. So anyway, that's roughly it. So if any of my friends want to come over and jam sometime, there is now room, because I've finally cleaned up, for a second human being to actually fit in here, which is a first, which is the main reason I made this video, because honestly this is the cleanest it's been in years.